Okay, so I found my topic wheel.
Awesome.
So I think I have one, two, three, four, five, six. I think I have 6 or 7 things here. I'll
Nice.
just read. So, boss lady lifestyle because I have a business, and so having like things that things that relate to that. I like cool like so boss lady, whether it's quotations or showing behind the scenes. If you're this is really helpful when you're thinking about what kind of content do I want to put in my Instagram. So I have these particular topics. Law of attraction, that's one of my topics. So then I would want to have some law of attraction quotes in there so people could see it and be like, oh, be inspired by that. I'm a musician, so also my artist lifestyle. So me performing, that's also very important that they, see me as that I am seen as an artist. Self-care is another possible topic for me because I believe in radical self-care and taking care of ourselves. Especially when we want to stay positive. If depending on what kind of lifestyle you have, if you're doing a lot, you're really busy with work, family. It's also very important to have self-care in your life. Spirituality. So, anything that I feel relates to, spirituality, um, spirit, my connection with God, that would also be one of my topics. Online business, because I love online business, that would be one of my topics. And relationships, like my relationship with Jim, my boyfriend. So those are the topics: law of attraction, boss lady lifestyle, artist lifestyle, relationships, online business, self care, and spirituality. So yeah,
That sounds
um,
good.
yeah, so those are the topics that I want to focus on. So like so by focusing them, it keeps. I mean, I will have plenty of. Uh, those are things that are very important to me. So I should never run out of content, out of those things. But I also keep it limited to those things. Like I'm not putting recipes on there. Like I cook sometimes, but I'm not going to put.
Yeah.
That's not my thing. So that's not going to be part of my brand. So um, part of your brand is to know what you are and what you aren't, and to focus on the things that you are. Oh, I also have some other things. If you're, um, wait, what do I have here? Wait, hold on, I have notes.
All right. Oh, cool. My style of notes, huh?
What's that?
The note. I said my style of notes. The notebook.
Yeah, I have my little
There
notebook.
you
I
go.
love, I love these things. I love it, like these composition
I
notebooks.
love
They
them
kind of
too.
different colors. I think it's really powerful when we take notes though. I do use Evernote for things, and and it's free and you can search it and that's great. But I still love to have like there's something about the connection between your hand and paper, your
And
brain and your
yep,
hand.
I
So
love it.
do not discount that power, even though you might type gazillions of miles a minute. Um, studies have shown that there's a particular kind of, I guess, a neural pathway between your brain and your hand. So when you do things like automatic writing, or stream of consciousness writing, when you just start writing, that's very powerful. You're able to get to uh, facts that you might not have been really paying attention to if you just let your hand be free. That doesn't happen when you type. So that's just a little note right there. Um, okay, so I have my little notes here for you for my personal branding for you.
Oh, good.
So I'm interesting character / figurehead. Oh, which online outlets are you using? So
Oh,
think
that's
about, you don't
cool.
have to use them all. You
Right.
don't. Which are you using? Instagram? Are you using Facebook? Are you using a blog? Um, choose the ones that are natural for you. Don't
That's my
feel like you have to.
recommendation. That's
Yeah,
what I was telling
everyone's like,
Sheila
oh, what's the best
yesterday. I just
one? The
start
best
with the
one
whatever
is
you
the
know.
one that you like to use
Yep.
because it's consistent. You
100%
can't be
agree with
consistent.
that.
Yeah.
And then go from there. Once you get comfortable distributing your content on that one, then go to the next one. Like I'm just now
Exactly.
3 years later trying to get comfortable with LinkedIn and Twitter. Like I'm on and off going on there trying to figure out how it's used as a user so I can know how to use it as a content creator. And it's very
Mm-hmm.
different for me. But yeah, I 100% agree with that. Start with what you know. That's exactly what I did with Streamline Gaming.
Yeah, and then it'll be easier to be consistent. And then I put the power of consistency. Yeah, so um, the power of consistency is very important for a brand, because you want people to know that you are always going to be there, that you are going to be, that we can count on you to see you every day, every week. Like, you can't just ghost on your Instagram site for months and months, you know, or like my Twitter feed. I haven't really done anything with it. So, you know, granted, there are things that you can do, such as like attach. Like I have my Instagram set up so that the picture also goes on my Facebook page. That way I don't have to do anything extra. Although I will sometimes put something just on my Facebook page. But the idea is that if you go to my Facebook page, even if I didn't, that it's been updated recently, because I updated my Instagram recently. So that's really helpful. But you want to be consistent on the channels that you use, and you know, not go missing for months. And
that's
and
where I've
also
really struggled. I've struggled with
I know, but see, and I struggle on this too, especially as I'm like trying to figure out what I'm doing. I'm not posting every day, but the thing is, I think it's important not to post just because you feel like people are going to forget about you. I mean, post when you're in a really good place and you have something to say. Don't just post just because, oh, well, if I don't post today, you know,
it won't be consistent. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like something that's helped me with that is scheduling my posts. So
that's good.
Facebook and YouTube, I've been doing that for like the last 2 weeks. And my podcast. So I sit down, and when I'm scheduling posts, I'll open up my Facebook page, YouTube channel, and my podcast, and I'll upload the files to there. And while they're uploading, I'll write the content, the copy, that, you know, the title, the description, all that. And then I'll schedule it. And I have on my big calendar here, I have, you know, I've even started highlighting the days that I want to do podcast, and then the opposite days I'm doing videos. So I just write the name of the person of whose video I'm posting or whose podcast I'm posting that day. So I know, like, okay, these days, the next 2 weeks I have scheduled. So whenever I start running out of times, I need to sit down and schedule again, versus, you know, what I used to do every day. Like, oh, I gotta send out a post at 10 a.m. And that's so hard to do every day. So scheduling has helped a lot for me. And scheduling, people know, like, you can put up a post and then say, don't publish this right now, publish it later. So that's what scheduling is.
Yes. And when I used to, when I had another blog, one of my older blogs, I would go through these places. I mean, I would go through these moments where I'd feel like writing 4 blog posts at a time, and then not want to do anything for like a month, you know, and I realized, wait, I can program this. I don't, you know, don't have to hit people hard. And this is even before social media. You know, I could space them out, and that's the way it should be. That way you could schedule it, and that way I wouldn't feel so, you know, to post 4 right now and then not post anything for months is kind of silly. So, you know, just to be smart about it. So I think scheduling is a great idea. And I use scheduling for certain things.
I think that's where I struggled. You know, whenever I had to feel like I had to do it every day, I felt like anytime I feel like there's chains on my hand and I'm just tied to something, that it bothers me. It feels like I don't have the freedom to create other things, or, you know, so whenever I'm having to do it every day, that was a problem. It made me burn out, really. So as you said, you know, just sitting down whenever I am in my creative mind, and I'm like, oh, I want to create content right now, being able to do 3 or 4 pieces of content or post, and then scheduling them, it's a world of difference. And that's what I'm planning on doing with going forward as best I can, and setting up my schedule so that so that it is capable of me staying ahead of schedule. Cause I used to have such a hard schedule, post 3 times a week and do other stuff everywhere else. And, you know, that whenever you start getting worried about the deadline coming, that's when you probably need to slow your calendar down or something, or figure something out.
Well, there's a name for what you're talking about. And you could do it on purpose. It's called batching. You know, so like you batching. So you sit down at one point and you do all of your scheduling, and then you sit it down another day, you spend that for creating all of your content or doing all your videos. On another day, then you write some blog posts. Like batching, that's a real thing. So that's a really great time saver, because you know, because like when you talk about having to do something every day, that is really hard. And that's also why I definitely want to use that, because when it comes to things like choosing hashtags for Instagram, that takes a lot of time. So I would rather sit down at one point and go through a lot of the different, you know, keep a list of some of my favorite hashtags that I feel that would be good to my particular niche. Because if I have to do that every day, find the picture and write the caption, and like that's really difficult. So my goal is to plan them ahead of time. So because everything takes like a different part of your brain. Like there's the days that you just need to write, you need to work on your blog, you're using one particular part of your brain, and you don't want to have to stop and you know, feel that pressure to do something else. You like to feel like, okay, I'm sitting down and I'm just writing. I'm doing my thing.
Get
you
in
know,
the flow.
or
Yeah.
okay, I'm doing my videos, I'm doing my photo shoot. Yeah, just better just to focus on that one particular task. So batch all of your tasks in one, and you feel so much less stressed that way. So that's you hit on it.
I feel like that's what I've been doing with my podcast. Like I'll go a week or two and be in rest mode, kind of doing editing or, you know, content creation, whatever it might be. And then like this week I had 3 podcasts scheduled. So like, it's like podcast. And so that happens, you know, sometimes people can't do a podcast and then all of a sudden everyone can do it. And so I'm having to schedule them all in a row, which is fine for me. Again, it lets me batch my tasks, which I like a lot. I agree. That's a great idea.
Well, they also like to keep you like in that frame of mind. For example, like doing like Zoom videos, for example, or Skype videos, whatever it is. When you just do one once a month, you kind of, it's not totally in your fingers yet. But like if you do 3 in 1 week, by the end of the week, you're like, okay, your learning curve tightens up so much because you're like, okay, by the end of this week, you know, and especially after yesterday, you know, you're like, okay, you're going to be the Zoom expert after this week.
Yep. Yeah, really just please actually save to my computer. It's just so crazy. All of the tests worked fine. They saved fine. And here we are, it's recording. And here I am worrying, is it actually going to save? So
we'll see. But the sign says recording now. It's fine. But the thing is, by the end of this week, you are going to be the expert on Zoom.
The Zoom expert, Calvin Keeney. Woo! Start a new podcast. The Zoom expert featuring Calvin Keeney.